Hooker, you pissed off another vampire and then you took a goddamn nap.
right, there we go. Just in time for a quick selfie from our Toreador Sophie. Very fitting, actually. That would be a very in-character thing, especially given her latest occupation. She's kind of a big thing now.
She would never do this. I would never do this either.
Sophie suddenly becomes a surfer at night. All right, so welcome back to the next game of, I'm getting ready to say Shadow of the Phoenix. I'm still so used to saying that. Ashland by night. So last we left off, a big hullabaloo was made about Sabat being in the ranks of the Anarchs, and a public display of defection from Damaris, who quite literally gave everything to become publicly known as an Anarch. Including her intestines for a bit. However, this is the we are now at the next. We're at the next evening, the evening adjacent from all of this. Everybody is down 1 blood point. You're fine, Casey. So you're only down one. Not you don't have to worry about obviously your ghouls or anything like that. You're just down one blood point from high hope from waking up. Oh, really? I can't play with the laser pointer right now. Anytime this is true. Anytime see, look, she knows exactly what this is.
What kind of servant are you anyway?
It's
I know
the jingle.
Yeah, no, but she knows because she's looking right at it. It's not just the jingle. She knows the red dot that she has to kill. See, look, you can even see her on the camera still. Comes out of this thing. So watch. She's about to go.
All I'm reminded of is the Lego Ninjago movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Yes.
I think I saw it once.
Ultimate weapon. It's a laser pointer.
She's gone now. Good. And what's funny too is because she gets all worked up. She's a cat, so she gets all worked up over that stupid laser pointer. That Darby starts getting into it a little bit, and so if that laser beam like jumps right in front of him, he'll stomp a couple times on the ground and do like that bite motion, like he's trying to get at it, but then quickly gets dissuaded because she is still darting around trying to, kill the red dot thing.
Get it.
Yeah.
He's
So
that person who does like wall jumps and paintball.
Yeah. No, we're not playing right now. I'm sorry, Hope. She's got this look at me like you stopped playing. So
what are you doing, Dad? You doing?
Yeah, I know. So, it's the next night at this point. Sophie has received word from a couple of sources now that she has a visitor coming to town, as well as the multiple voicemails from Henri, trying to not only figure out how to explain, but also how to deal with modern technology, which is not his forte. So I believe we decided that the train museum is going to be the location for the meeting tonight. Okay. So then all of you, except Casey, you'll be brought in a second, have made arrangements or are arriving now at the train museum in town. Obviously, it's typically not open at this hour, and there's a sign that's hung out front specifically saying private engagement. Remus, Jeeves advised that you take your security detail with you and post them out front, because it would probably be a good idea to have some sort of security on site.
Sounds good.
But the rest of you are there. Henri has just been let in. Robert is standing in the wings, just kind of looking around. The train museum is not terribly big, but it is dedicated to the old rail line that used to run through Ashland, Oregon. There is still a rail line that goes through, but this particular part of the spur has been closed down because historic reasons, and the line was in disuse and whatnot. So this particular museum is part of the remains of the old train station that used to be here. So there's some artifacts in here to the small Asian community that Ashland has. Obviously, a bunch of old Western paraphernalia from that time frame, as well as just some general artifacts and help books available for purchase as well. As this was put together rather quickly, there are no real decorations. It's just the museum. Go down a hall. There is a meeting room which probably seats 15 people-ish comfortably. Not terribly big, but so there's a large table, chairs, and that's really about it.
Jerome, the last time we were here, they had we were able to they had blood here. So is that, and is anybody else here, or am I the first to arrive?
No, everybody but you. So they're all here. You're just now arriving.
All right.
Do we still have blood on hand here?
No, you do not.
Okay.
This was put together kind of last minute, so unfortunately you weren't able to get anything organized in that fashion.
Nobody brought party favors?
Nobody brought party favors.
I'm new at this.
And Xandria is here as well.
Oh, good.
So Henri was frisked coming in to ensure that he didn't have any weapons on him.
Am I allowed to keep my weapons or no?
No, they're not going to allow you to keep your weapons if you have any on you.
All right. I guess I give those back to Robert. Am I allowed to keep my cane?
They know it's a sword cane, so no.
All right. Well, there is that. I don't know if they know that. So
Yes.
So all that goes to Robert then.
Okay.
think
So
he's
then
seen it.
Robert at this point is going to have to wait outside since he's got your goods.
Is he welcome to come in?
Yeah. Unless
Right.
you're specifically keeping him with your goods. Otherwise, then he wouldn't be able to come in.
No, he just tell him to put him in the van, and then he can come join us inside.
Okay.
Well, I'll wait for him to go to the van. We'll walk in together.
Okay. All right. So then you're doing that. Sophie, Xandria pulls you off to the side, and she says, "Do we call you Madam Baron, or is it just Baron Sophie, or
Just Sophie.
Sophie?" Okay. So Sophie, my Domitor had tasked us with watching, should we say, sensitive areas, and we wanted to let you know that we have not seen or heard of any individuals coming in or out of the Gentleman's Haven outside of those. I believe he is Gould.
Oh, good. So nobody suspicious has been watching him or trying to contact
We
him?
have not seen anything in a physical sense.
Okay, that's a good start. Thank you for letting me know.
Of course. As I had said before, I am standing in stead of Trudy. So if there's anything that you need of us, I'm more than happy to take that back to her.
Thank you.
And she just
I do want to make sure
goes,
that.
sits back
Oh,
quietly.
sorry.
No, you're okay.
I also want to make sure that Jill and Susan come too, because they need to be involved in this and get the exposure. So
Okay, they are not here as of yet, but as you sent them kind of a last minute invite, they did tell you they'll be there. They're just getting ready.
Cool.
Have I talked to Sophie, or did she just send me a text message to show up tonight? Like,
Yeah, that's all you got was the location and probably just a we'll talk here.
Okay. So I just want to know what I know, which is nothing. So
Right. So Casey, as two individuals go walking into this train museum, and the train museum sits a little bit outside of town, so it's got some nice greenery, around it. If you have the opportunity, you can always Google Ashland, Oregon. It is based on the real place, just enlarged fictionally for our purposes. There's two individuals, one woman and one man, standing out front, looking very, for lack of a better term, corporate. Black tie types. I don't know how you might be dressed. Probably like a hobo.
gonna say another one.
Yeah. Are you there, Casey?
he looks frozen.
Can you guys?
There you are.
Video is kind of choppy, but I just heard you.
Okay. No, I'm still here.
Okay. How do you picture your character dressed right now?
Probably not the cleanest, not ragged, but maybe a pair of dirtier jeans,
Okay.
and unkept but not filthy.
Okay. So kind of like John Rambo in First Blood.
Yeah,
Okay. Like right in the very beginning when he's walking into town.
yeah.
Okay. That'll work. So the two individuals who are standing there, the one man holds up his hand in front of you to pause. You've been given some information that the vampires are actually going to be meeting here. You don't know what the specifics are. You just know that this will probably be a good time to introduce yourself, since multiple should be here.
Okay.
The man holds up his hand and he looks you kind of up and down, and he says, "I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. Who are you?"
My name is Snowball.
Snowball. So he kind of looks down and he goes, "Huh." And so he gets on a little earpiece, and then Remus, you get a message coming in, and sir, we have somebody by the name of Snowball out front. The name checks out from Baron Sophie.
Say, I'll say to the group, Snowball is here. Should I have them let him in? Baron?
Snowball. Is this
Yeah.
another cat?
No, not as far as I'm aware. I was just informed that he, an ally would be arriving in town.
So I should have them send him in?
Yeah, have him send him in.
Okay. And I'll activate my earpiece and I'll say, Liam, go ahead and let him in. Thank you.
Of course, sir. So he turns and looks to you, Casey, and he says, if you don't mind, we're going to have you leave your weapons at the door.
Okay.
Do you just comply, or do you force them to pat you down and frisk you?
I'm not really, yeah, nothing. I'm not okay with that.
With leaving your weapons at the door?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, he says, well, sir, you won't be able to enter if you bring in weapons.
Okay, so hand over my one weapon.
And which one is that? Because you have
it's
two,
a
and they're big.
it's a Thompson submachine gun.
Okay. So he sees you pulling the Thompson out from your bag. At this point, you're like, "Root." And he's like, "Oh, Christ!" And he says, "All right, so arms up.
Okay.
We have to pat you down. Just security check."
Okay.
So,
is that really necessary?
yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
You will get your weapons back at the end of the evening.
What guarantee do I have?
The guarantee of the Baron.
Okay. So
Is
I
that
hand
sufficient?
over I hand over my vector as well.
Okay. So yeah, at that point, there's like,
In
oh,
that case, I have this other one.
yeah, I know. And so he looks at it and he looks to the lady, both of which you can tell they may not have they may or may not have served in the military, but they are clearly trained to some degree. Like you can tell just by the way they're looking you over and watching the environment, the weapons that they have. They know what they're doing. Come on now, I'm down. I know. And he looks and he says, and he's holding up the Thompson, which of course has the drum barrel, and he's like, "Are you really packing 100 rounds in this?"
Oh, I might have a little bit more in my bag.
And he just shakes his head. And he's like, "Wow, okay." So he, motions for you to go inside. The other holds the door, and he actually sets the weapon. Like there are a couple of other things in here that look like they're probably just kind of tossed into the corner or something. These two are like specifically set down separately on a table.
Okay.
Which is like in a room, a small room adjacent to the front door. Okay. And he says, "You're welcome to go inside, sir."
Okay.
So I'm just a couple minutes ahead of Snowball, then, right?
Yes.
Right.
At this point, you've probably had enough time to look around the museum and figure out like where they're at by the time he comes walking in.
Oh, that's right. Henri hasn't been here, has he?
No.
So I would go straight to Sophie, if that's, to talk to her.
Okay. Well, it is down the hall. It's pretty easy to find. I mean, it's not a huge, museum. It's just there's like the main room. It's got a bunch of display cases and displays and items and whatnot. There's a hallway that kind of goes down. That has some stuff like hung up on the hallway in some cases, but really it's just to access the rest of the building where like the meeting room and restrooms and stuff are at. So it's just down the hall, not maybe more than 50 feet.
And I don't get any kind of sense of foreboding or anything like that. It's just everything that she said we're going to meet here. It seems pretty straightforward, right? Like,
you know what? Why don't you give me a wits and alertness check?
0.
0. Okay. You are completely unsure.
All right. So
Outside of the fact that there is somebody new here.
oh, that's right. Yeah. If I would walk up to Sophie. Like, so I see basically who's here plus the NPC. So
Yeah, so you see everybody here, plus the disheveled wanderer who just came in. You see Remus's staff. He has staff now.
yeah, I've not met the staff. So
So his staff, and then you also see. Actually, you don't recognize the lady either. There's a bunch of
Right.
faces here you don't recognize. You do, however, notice that everybody but you and the stranger still has their equipment.
is Sophie engaged in conversation with this new person?
No. At this point, you both are just kind of walking at the same time.
Okay. So I mean, I would just turn to Robert and I'm like, just be very aware. I do not know what's going on. It's very odd that I have to set my weapons aside, so I'm not sure exactly what is going to happen here this evening. I walk up to Sophie and I'm like, Mademoiselle Sophie, I present myself to you, so we may speak.
You glance at Damaris. She's giving you kind of like that, I can't believe you right now look. Like, you fucked us over look.
I'm glad to see you in one piece. Henri, have a seat. Everyone, why don't you have a seat? We need to have some discussions tonight.
So the lady that's here, she has kind of long dishwater blondish hair, dressed in a business suit, and has a tablet with her. Looks like she's taking notes infrequently. The other two guys who frisked you on the outside are standing at the door in here.
So there are new
Otherwise,
faces.
everybody else sits.
Robert, sit with me. I see the new faces here. I'm not sure who everyone is. Would it be improper to ask for introductions?
Man, it's in charge.
So, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Remus.
You said that Liam and Eleanor came inside,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll introduce myself to the new person. I'll say, hello, I'm Remus. You've met my two associates, Liam and Eleanor. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. And I'll kind of like a polite gesture to the new guy.
And you must be Mr. Snowball.
Yes.
Welcome to Ashland. Can I?
Thank you.
I'm Sophie, the Baron.
You are the Baron?
Yes. So I'm the Baron now. You've been gone a little while.
2 nights, 1 night. It's congratulations. That's
Yes. Mr. Snowball, can I ask where you are coming from?
Meaning,
What city?
I'm out here from Vegas.
Oh, that's yes. All right.
So what's your faction then?
Hey, I'm happy. Everybody's audio is cutting in and out really bad. I'm not catching a lot of.
I asked what your faction was because we need to ask that question now.
I don't know how to answer that.
Are you out of character? Are you Anarch? Are you Camarilla? Are you Sabat? Basically,
Independent.
where's your alliance or allegiance? I guess.
Um,
I don't know if out of character you're playing an Anarch or not. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you up front.
yeah. I'm confused.
So that is in your background.
Okay.
So I don't want to like go over that, publicly because that kind of spoils some of it. But you are nominally an Anarch.
Does he say that? I'm an Anarch.
An Anarch.
I'm gonna do aura perception.
Okay.
See if he's telling the truth.
Sure. Go ahead and roll.
Is that just perception and
Awareness, I believe.
awareness?
Is it awareness or is it empathy?
Good question. I need to pull up the book.
Because my scores for those are the same, so I.
It is perception and empathy.
Cool, empathy's better for me anyway. Even though you can't really tell 99% of the time. Okay.
Wait, aura perception is perception and empathy?
Yes.
Then what is spirit's touch? Because I have that as perception and empathy also.
It could very well be. Let me take a look. Spirit's touch.
I just got 2.
Spirit's touch is the same thing.
Oh, all right.
Casey just disappeared.
No.
Okay, so at a 2,
Got 2.
you
Yeah.
can distinguish the main color. I'm
just trying to see if he's telling the truth.
right.
I think it's mostly confusion.
Yeah, he's a vampire. He's confused. Maybe an emotion.
There we go. So it's a form of mottled color and shifting, which you would know that to be a little confused.
Okay.
I meant that out of character. I don't know if he's for real confused.
Oh.
In character, he's confused.
I'm getting the sense that you're not really sure.
That was directed to you, Casey. I don't know if you heard that.
Sorry, it was directed to you. I'm getting the sense that you're not really sure what you are.
Maybe.
I look over at Sophie.
Well, I was informed that he would be by from a trusted Anarch source. So
Okay.
um,
Trust him for now.
for now, that's enough for me.
Okay. Forgive my suspicion and paranoia lately.
We've had a bit of upset lately.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the precautions.
Caution is good.
Do you want to ask us anything, or are you just going to observe for now?
Probably gonna sit back and kind of observe for now.
Okay. Henri, this is Ms. Cummings, who is representing Trudy.
Oh, Miss Truday. Okay.
She stands and bows politely, and then sits back down.
Now, do we all know each other?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Now, do we all know each other?
I
So
believe
there's
so,
only-
ma'am.
It says Liam, Eleanor, and Miss Cummings. They're the only other three that are in here with us, right?
Yes.
Sorry, Jill and Susan are on their way.
Oh, that's right. Hmm.
I invited them because
No, it's
Re-
good. I'm
they
glad
need to
you did.
know.
I told Jill that we would do a better job of keeping them apprised of dangers in the city. So
This is why I invited them.
this will be good.
Mm.
Yes. Do we
Since-
want to take care of business before they get here? What do you think?
May I? I would like to speak to Demaris before we begin.
She's looking at you. She's not happy with you. You have a lot of explaining to do. Because unfortunately, what you did caused a lot of problems for the rest of the city.
In order for me to speak freely, I would need to speak to you first because there was something that I was not supposed to speak of openly. So I would
Okay.
like to speak to you.
All right. Do you want to do this privately, or is this something you don't mind talking about out here? I don't know what you were talking about, or what else you're talking about.
It was something that you wanted to keep private.
The fact that I'm Sabat, was Sabat.
If the as they say, cat is out of the bag, that is fine. I did not want to.
Oh, the cat got out of the bag and the guts ripped out. Literally.
All right, well that is fine. So
Yeah, I'm sure you'd appreciate that.
I just, if you would reveal that to me in confidence, and I would not break that confidence without your permission.
I understand. At the time that it was revealed, it was not ideal. You unfortunately happened to be there too. But it doesn't matter now because I'm not Sabat. I am officially Anarch and cannot show my face in any Sabat territory ever again.
I think we have that in common then.
Yeah, I know we do now.
But I
So-
do not know what all of you know at this point.
Yes, so
you are
now
very
that
angry with me, but that's fine.
Now that that's out of the way, Henri, would you like to tell us about your recent adventure?
Yes. So our new friend here, Snowball, is this something that is to be openly discussed in front of him, or is this?
I believe that he is allowed to be privy to this discussion.
And then Liam and Eleanor, they are associates of yours, Monsieur Remus.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're with me.
All right. I do not know what you know. So I will just, I guess, go to the beginning. And after I was craving blood when we had left, and when I had left, was for the heaven, and I walked quite some time. I walked for miles, and I came upon a house, and there was a very large dog, and I was going to feast upon the dog only, and then suddenly Ekaterina was there, and she had friends with her, and she spoke to me of just desires and so forth from there, and She encouraged me. I fed on the dog. The owner of the dog came outside. He was like, "Hey, what's going on, Omondo?" And I said, like, I was going to just feed a little, and she encouraged me to allow my beast to feed. So I fed upon him, and she fed upon the woman of the house, and then invited me to come back to her house. And as the leader of the Zapat, inviting me to come to her house, I figured it was all right to come and to visit with her and to understand what she was presenting to me. I went that evening. There were 6 or 7 other vampires there. Very aggressive, very assholish. They were just this Antonio specific. He's just it just plays the intimidation game and the threatening and just discussing the Sabbat about how I'm a better fit for the Sabbat because I've left the Camarilla and I should be following the Sabbat because that's where I belong. And so I listened the first evening and I was tired and I went to bed. This is the next day. They invited me to some bonfire ceremony. They lit up this bonfire and they were leaping off across it like animals. They just not even like animals. They were like challenging.
Ritual.
Yes, it was a Sabbat ritual, and so they all were leaping across it and then looking to me like it's your turn, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm married. I don't want to do this, and but they were staring at me as if it was time, and I used the bloods I had to enhance my abilities, and I was able to. Well, I leaped across the bonfire, and my robes were actually caught on fire. I barely made it across. I would never do that again, but it was part of being with them. And then
Called a fire dance ritual. Basically, it's meant to inspire courage and show off a little bit.
Yeah, they were showing off. It's very much so, very stupid. So I took part. I did not want to, but it was very obvious I was supposed to. So I took part. They had this whole litany of speaking of Michael the Archangel and things and stuff. And
and a sermon. Okay.
It was. And then I was invited to go play a football game with the founding fathers, and I do not know what that meant. And it was offensive that I asked, "What is this football game?" And Antonio's, "Get your ass in the car. You are a stupid motherfucker." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to jump in another car with you because I don't trust you." And he's like, "Well, Katarina trusts you." And I'm like, I'm kind of done with this group. I just so I did not go in the car. And because I did not go in the car, I guess I made some grand mistake, and I was at that point Katarina called me a name I had not heard before and dismissed me and gave me a car ride to the city limits.
What did she call you, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't remember. It was word she used is my knowledge of Sabbat is very, very little, and I had heard this word before, but I have not heard it. But it's been a long time. They were I in my mind, and I do not wish to upset you, but it upset them quite a bit. In my mind, Sabbat and Black Hound were the same terminology. And so when I was calling them Sabbat, I mean, like the teeth were, fangs were popping out because they're like I was offending them. I did not know. So I apologized when I left. But before I left, Ekaterina made it very clear that I had offended her and I had offended the Sabbat and whatever. It was time to go.
Damaris, give me a self-control check.
Okay.
Difficulty 7.
Control. Where is it? Oh, shouldn't have put my dice away. Sorry.
Put your dice away?
I know. I don't know why. I just threw them in the bowl.
The game's starting. Better put the dice away.
Difficulty 7.
Difficulty 7.
I got 1.
Okay. So you have the ability to ride your frenzy, and basically direct it. Remember, you're 1 day removed from being Sabat. He just took a big steaming shit all over Octor's right day.
Yes, he sure did.
So I take it a chair or something nearby is going to be the target of your ire.
Oh yes, some sort of pillar or whatever is
Okay.
about to get destroyed.
Okay. So probably about 2/3 of the way through that conversation, when Henri got to the point where he was talking about the football game.
Yeah, the game of instinct.
Yeah. So what do you have potence? I think you do, don't you?
I do not have potence.
Oh, okay. So she turns around and ends up putting her hand through the plaster in the wall, and is audibly seething.
No wonder they are so pissed at you. You literally just insulted a important ritual, which is a game of instinct.
This is said through
To
her
them.
teeth, by the way.
The
No
bonfire,
wonder they want to kill you.
the bonfire leaping is a game of
No,
instinct.
that was part of the whole sort of process. The game of instinct was to inspire courage and preparation for the game of instinct, which is to test your abilities and your strengths and your beliefs. And
Okay.
you brushed it off like it was nothing. No wonder they're mad.
I asked what it was. I asked what is it? They said it was a football game with the founding fathers. That's how it was explained to me. A football game with the founding fathers. I don't play sports. I'm not interested in fucking sports. This is just asinine. I ask what is it? My response was get my ass in the car. Well, fuck that. I'm not going to get in some car with some assholes that at each moment they threaten me. They are little more than beasts. I want nothing to do with these
Damaris, erase a willpower point.
Permanent or just
No, temporary.
temp? Okay.
I'm forcing you to spend willpower at this point.
That's okay. Because I probably need it.
Yeah, because I know you would not, because you're frenzying and you're
Mm-hmm.
writing it and you're trying to make sure you don't direct it at him.
Yeah.
I came as an invited guest. I was invited, and they played games with me. So
The sad part is you don't understand the insult that you gave them. And I don't think that that's not your fault that you don't understand. The fact that it happened, though, and that you're talking about it as if it was nothing
nothing
is
was
what's making me
explained to
even more mad right now.
Nothing was explained to me. If you bring somebody into, I don't know, it's the Catholic Church, and you're like, and you say, look at the wine over there, and someone's like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'll drink a glass of wine, and every Catholic, and oh, you're drinking their wine, what is he doing? So they would panic. But if no one would explain to them, you don't drink the wine, then they would not know. You know, oh, look, and they're look at the bread over there. Oh, I'm kind of hungry. I go eat some bread. And then suddenly, like, you're eating the Eucharist. We are freaking out. Well, if you don't explain things to someone, and I was asking, what does it mean? And in my explanation was, get my ass in the van. That's not an explanation. So I am sorry that you are offended. I'm sorry they are offended. But they're truthfully assholes. What they have done, like,
Yeah, they are. Almost
that-
every Sabat member is like that. But you have to understand you were declining what it was an important ritual to them. And they were inviting you along. That's the insult. And again, you didn't obviously agree with it, but it still presented an insult to them.
they need to be insulted then.
Henri,
Well,
what,
Damaris, are Sabat, when they take defectors, are they inclined to explain the significance of their rituals, or is it typical to just cow them into participating?
Both. I hate to say it. When obviously when you're born into that, you get that education along the way. It's exceedingly rare to invite someone outside to join into a fire dance, first of all, and then you got presented with a sermon of Cain, and then you got invited to participate in another ritual, which, again, all of this just adds up into the fact that what they were doing was sacred to them and sacred to me at some point, which is why I'm taking so offense to this right now.
And I do not mean to offend you, but it is as simple as this. I am, as you say, I am the outsider. Ekaterina, she speaks sweetly. She coaxed me to come in, and it made sense for me to join her and to spend the night in her abode. And we were just going to discuss things. That's all we were going to do, but we did discuss nothing. And as I asked questions, this Antonio, he grabbing my chair, grabbing my shoulders, it was, I don't know, a huge pissing contest of who kind of just, I'm not going to be threatened or cowed into, I have to join the Sabbat. I left the Camarilla because Camarilla does not make sense with what I have done in my lifestyle choices and where I've gone in my life, and I've caused too many problems in the Camarilla. So it was time for me to leave. So I left the Camarilla. I have not joined any other faction, frankly, because I was with the Camarilla for 2 centuries. So nothing. I've discussed very little of being an anarch with you here. When you introduced me to Ekaterina, and I said I would like to speak to her again, and you said that you could make that happen. That we would, I could meet with her, discuss with her again. Well, so when she suddenly shows up, I thought maybe you had something to do with it, but
What?
I did not
When did
know
I ever say that I would arrange a way for you and Ekaterina to meet? I don't ever recall saying that.
When we met with Ekaterina,
The one time,
yes.
and I never said that we could make it happen. I said that, from what I remember, I'm sure you could make that happen. Look.
We never had a chance to talk about it again. That evening was the only time we ever talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Henri, when you went with her, what were you expecting to happen?
I did not know. I was simply, my understanding of the Sabbat has only been explained to me in half conversations. I have not had large conversations on the Sabbat. Until I met Ekaterina and Damaris, my envisioning of the Sabbat was something completely different. More along the lines of who Antonio was. That's the beasts, the non-thinking killing machines. That was my understanding of the Sabbat. When we met Ekaterina, she was pleasant. She was personable, and you know Damaris. She is personable. She is pleasant. So I learned a new side of the Sabbat after meeting these 2 ladies and spending quite some time with Damaris. If this is what Sabbat is, then maybe I need to just talk to somebody about what Sabbat is. So when Ekaterina invited me to talk about Sabbat, that's what I thought was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be join or die, or join or you are cursed. I did not know. She simply said to come with her so we could discuss.
And you didn't think, I mean, this woman essentially was flooding our streets with drugs, all so that she could manipulate us into going to deal with a problem of hers. Like, I think if you were interested in the Sabbat, why didn't you ask Damaris? Like, at least Damaris is somebody that you knew, somebody you could trust. Like, instead of Katerina, which is just, I don't know, a snake.
She's a charmer, that's for sure.
She is a charmer, and I am not part of the politics of everything that's going on. Some of what you're saying is new to me. So like for her to, she was doing Sabbat business here within the town. She said, "If you do this, I will leave," and she left. And I thought that was an honorable thing for her to do, for her to leave our city and then go to Portland. So I did not know that there was undertones of other things and the manipulations that are going on.
I mean, she was trying to install become like a drug kingpin. There's nothing honorable about that.
Well, she left though. She did not stay here.
I think that was her plan. I mean,
Yeah,
she did that. I agree with what you said, Remus. She did that to maneuver us into taking out Benedict. Sorry, but it's true.
Yeah.
Because I know he's in you. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And she got her way, left it wide open for the Sabbat to go into, and now here we are. The problem that we're running into now, Henry, though, is that because you left the Camarilla, you effectively left the Sabbat by rejecting pretty much the invitation to join, and now you're back here in an anarch city. Literally the only place left almost for you to go in that sense of a faction.
So then I stand up. I'm like, then if I am not welcome here, I will leave. Robert?
I didn't say that yet, but I'm trying to get you to understand what's happening here.
I consciously left the Camarilla. Yes. It was not a fit. I received title, but I did not I never truly felt at one with the Camarilla. Ekaterina did not say it was an invitation to join the Sabbat. She said it was an invitation to stay at her house and discuss the Sabbat. So that is why I went, was to discuss. And again, it sounds as if I am being used as another tool for her to manipulate things the way she wants to go.
Yeah.
She did not invite me to her house for me to join the Sabbat. She invited me to go join her house to cause problems here.
You're right.
And so she has caused problems here. I am an unwitting participant. So at this point, if it is easier, I will just go. I am not looking to join the anarchs. I'm not looking to join another faction. I'm looking to be left fucking alone at this point. Sophie, when I first met this group, and I look over at Camarilla, not Camarilla. What the hell is her name? Miss Trudy's representative. What's her name?
Zandria.
Miss Cummings.
Cummings.
Miss Cummings.
Here we go. So look, I'm like, I go, Miss Cummings, when I met your representative Trudy, we were held captives, and when we escaped and that I was introduced to this group here, I had left the Camarilla and I don't remember if it was Sophie or I don't know who said Damaris or like what faction am I, and I am not any. I'm not Camarilla anymore. And you asked if I was an anarch, and I said I could maybe become an anarch, but I did not know enough of the anarchs to become one. And then we never discussed it again. So that was left in the open. I'm here tonight to just explain myself of why I left and why I was coming back. I left a voicemail with Sophie to say I was coming back. I'm not hiding. I'm not trying to sneak around in any way, shape, or form. So if my presence here is something that will cause turmoil and problems, then I will leave. It's a very large world, and I can go somewhere else. Do not need to stay within this small city. But something, I don't remember who it was, someone had said that the anarchs are more of like a family. So,
But you just said you don't want to be a part of that family. I think that's. I guess what I don't understand, Henri, is I don't understand what you stand for. I mean, I'm new to all of this, like this vampire stuff too. But I mean, I know enough at least that I definitely don't want to be anywhere near Ekaterina. I don't even like she shouldn't have been in the city to begin with. But I mean, like, we're here to talk to you. You know, we're not, you know, you're not at sword point. You know, we're here trying to figure out what is happening, and then you just straight up told us that you're not even interested in being like a part of our group. Like, I've had to acknowledge the fact that if I'm by myself in this world, I'm going to get eaten. I'm going to get torn apart. But you don't even want to be a part of that. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, what's your angle?
I agree with what he said. I'm coming from leaving and defecting from my entire faction because I believe in this city, because I've become attached to it, because it has become a family.
And right then, there's a knock at the side of the door, and Jill and Susan come walking in, and they're like, Susan's like, bad timing.
It's okay. Just we're having a conversation about what happened. So
Jill has kind of long, brownish hair. Looks like she's probably led a middle class life. Nothing super extraordinary about her. Her head's on the swivel a whole lot. She looks a little paranoid.
rightfully
Susan,
so.
Susan, on the other hand, looks like she's probably lived a hardened life to some degree. Some visible tattoos, and is in just with shortcut hair, and in probably a black T-shirt with denim jeans. Very simple.
See,
Oh,
ladies,
she'll,
we're
yeah.
we're in the middle of a discussion, but you're welcome.
Oh,
Has Henri met them? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
I don't believe so. No,
I
You
think-
helped us
they've
rescue
been-
them.
they've been pretty
I
sequestered.
think
But yeah,
I think they've at least seen each other, even if they haven't spoken.
if anything, it would have
remember-
been in passing at Sophie and Collins when everybody was.
I-
Oh yeah. When we first got released.
I was remembering them coming to something at the Willow House one time.
No, I remember meeting them at the house. Doug was there, and then he
Mhm.
met them. That's yeah. That was when we first got released.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge them. I just kind of
Okay.
push on tape.
They just nod and see that most everybody's sitting down, so they take 2 seats next to each other and look back and forth like, you know, they just farted in a room and everybody's uncomfortable now, sort of look.
She'll look back at Henry like, I agree with what Remus said. Like, what do you stand for at this point? Like, you gotta either you believe in something and want to belong to something, or you don't. You clearly don't. So what do you want at this point?
I can tell you what I don't want. I can start with that. I was Camarilla. My master, Jean Philippe, was Camarilla, and that's how I was raised. That's how I centuries, decades. I would go with it from city to city and piss off a prince for each city and go to the next city and I just so it's become easier to live in the sewers. It's become easier to just stay in hiding, find abandoned buildings and stay there and feed on the occasional hobo. And so just Robert, he is when I met him in California, we've had some bond has been established. He's the only one that I've had around for a while. He has taught me some skills for this century. I know how to turn a computer on. I know how to use the cell phone. I know how to drive now. He's made a conscious effort to help me, and I have helped him as well. So, but as far as the Camarilla, I don't, the ideology, I do not follow the ideology. The Anarch has not been fully explained to me. When I first met this group, the concept of Anarch seemed tempting, but we never talked about it. There was always, it's as if we go from one emergency to the next. We haven't had a time for downtime to discuss anything. So there has not had, Remus, as you said, why not talk to Damaris, or why not talk? We haven't had the time to talk about anything. It's like, as we've barely kept our heads on, for all these times. So it has not come up. I'm not used to talking to people. I'm used to talking to myself and to Robert. With Miss Trudy's help, I have a home here. I have not had a home since France. I have not done leatherworking in quite some time, and to be able to do what leatherworking again is, it has been nice. I have an apprentice. I've been able to train someone, but still, I have not felt fully apart. But with the invitation from Ekaterina to discuss this Sabbat and to find more about it, that seemed tempting, at least to know what is it, so I can give a decision of saying, no, that's not for me. And I can say that, no, it's not for me. I do not want it. So I have declined. I have left the Camarilla. In my mind, I was never invited to join the Sabbat. It was just, look at the shit we could do. We're assholes. Watch us. And I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. So I don't know what part. And then here I am leaving them, and she's like, you've insulted us because we invited you. And I'm like, oh shit, I did not. This was an invitation. It's like, it's, how can I say? It's almost as if you go on you think it's just, we're going to go for a coffee together and just kind of sip the coffee, but you find out the person that you're going out to coffee with is interested in you. And I'm like, all you're interested in is the coffee, and they're interested in you. And that's how it felt for me. I thought we were just going to go sip the coffee and then discuss the Sabbat. I didn't know it was, and here you are, wear your wedding dress. You're not part of us. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I did not know. I can see why they're insulted, but they set themselves up for failure. They set me up for failure. So where do I want to be now? I do not know. I honestly, I don't. I don't know enough about the Anarchs to say, I want to be an Anarch now. I don't know. I mean, it's, who am I for? I am for myself. I am not, I would not do anything to damage this group or hurt this group. And it sounds as if I have. And that's why I have offered to leave. If me being here is causing this group turmoil, then it sounds as if I need to go. I do not know. I mean, what do I stand for? I stand for me. No one has stood for me for a long time. So I have learned to stand for myself.
Well, let's spell out a few things then. For what it's worth, I don't blame you for leaving the cam. I left the first chance I got. I was in it for much shorter time than you. Where things stand currently, with the other princes and the Sabbat, Henri is considered autarchus, which is,
That is the word she used.
yes,
What
which
does that
is to say, having rejected every political faction and welcome at none. I think that's a bit of an overstatement. I am of the opinion that Ekaterina has used this as an excuse to motivate other leaders against us, other cities, making Henri a target so that we bring um, frankly, hunters here after him and therefore after us. What I do know is as Autarchus, you will be living a very difficult life. No city is likely to welcome you, and you will be truly on your own. I believe that based on your time here and your interactions with us, that we would take you. I don't know how that reverses a declaration of Autarchus. The whole semantics thing is kind of lost on me in this case. But since it's come up, and since I started considering taking Baron, I've done a bit of research. I've asked around. I want to do this right. I want to do it properly. And the best answer that I've gotten as far as what anarchs are about is not Cam. Which to me means that we want to be free to live our own lives the way that we see fit. And I think as vampires living in a city with our disparate interests and our different goals, that does require some rules of civilization. I don't think all parts of the masquerade should be thrown out. I believe that some of them actually keep us safe and allow us to live peaceably with each other and with the humans. And as many occasions have shown us here, the less they know about us, the less trouble we run into. And they are, after all, more numerous than we are. My concern, Henri, is that it's come to my attention that you have some hobbies that make things a little difficult for us. And the humanity of that aside, it has also come to my attention that your past indiscretions on this point are likely to be used against you and against us where those other leaders are concerned. So, if you have any active enemies who know about your activities, we should probably discuss them.
I do not know of anyone that is an active enemy. Outside of Robert, the last person I mean, in the past 10 years, he was the only one that I had discussed my specialties. The old Baron, I told her, she was the first one I told, because she what's that?
Hesperia?
Hesperia. I told her just because she had an appreciation for the work. When just in the conversation, I knew she would not be repulsed. When I'd shown her my work, she was not, and that's why I'd stayed, because I was able to show someone, and I mean, I have not introduced you to Sandy. But I think you have seen some of the books. I mentioned the books. Like any other vampire, I feed, I occasionally kill, and most vampires, they just make their bodies disappear. I just make use of the body, is all.
I can't really find fault with that. Who among us has not occasionally killed or taken a feeding too far?
I mean, if we are going to put all the cards on the table, to be honest, I do need to kill, at least once a month. It's something I need to do.
Is there some specific kind of person that you need to find?
Nope, just someone disposable. I would like to find someone from Hawaii. That would be very nice. I would like to find someone from Alaska. I have not found, but that's a whole other subject. Sorry.
So
You're
it's
going for all 50 states like quarters?
bingo.
Remus and Sophie, why don't you give me self-control checks?
I'll be like, yes, I'm missing the Hawaii, Oklahoma, Alaska, and I think
A difficulty
Florida?
6.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
phased
a
by this.
botch for me.
Oh,
One
that's-
success.
1 success. Okay, so Remus, he's talking about collecting people. Both you and Benedict give that kind of like when that realization come over, go.
Yeah, no. I think Remus is like very visibly disgusted, just like
Sophie can't, like, right in the middle of his talk, like about what he's trying to complete, like he's treating it like Pogs or something, just like or a collectible card game. She doesn't even
Coins from each state.
Yeah, she doesn't even like get a chance to hold up her hand. She just turns and vomits right off to her left. You lose a point of
Damaris
blood.
looks slightly impressed.
I am sorry. And this is why I don't talk about it. This is the reactions I get. This is.
So that's a side project for you. I think the point is that if you're gonna stay, you take up the criminal element or something. If you've got to feed on someone once a month, I know a few back alleys around here that could use some cleanup.
that's what I do.
I could do the criminal. The only problem with the criminal element by myself is that I am not a fighter, but with obfuscate I can sneak up upon people, and then it's pretty good at that point. I like to. The nightclubs are very nice because after people come out of nightclubs, they are very distracted, and so that's
and intoxicated.
Yeah, sometimes
bonus.
Yeah.
Before
Okay.
Before I ended in my current predicament, that's what I was. I hunted the people that deserved it, people that were preying upon other people, abusive parents, murderers, drug traders. People that had it coming. Like
I'm not opposed to that. I am not. I spent most of my time within the sewers. So for me, it was just pop up, kill, and come back, or feed from here to there and then come back. But I did not have the contacts to be within these circles. And I've not had the ability to be open about it. I mean, look at Miss, our Baroness Sophie over here. I mentioned this, and she's vomiting on the floor. I'm so sorry, but it's difficult to discuss this openly.
I think I would be able to handle it better if it was not innocent people that are just having a good time, or a family that's just enjoying a night in, and you happen to across their doorstep, and suddenly they're a handbag or a decorative coin
No,
purse.
no, no, I did not.
I mean, I
Like,
like the analogy, but
I mean,
Do not
on
do
re-
the handbags.
I
like,
do handbags. I do. I make the purses and the handbags and the bootwear and belts. But no, I. There is a difference between the feeding, the killing, the random victim, and then the selected individuals that are part of my collection. Once I have made them into something, they are chosen for that, for a reason.
wait, hold on. So I'm understanding. So you take these people from these states that you've collected, and you turn them into belts, handbags, and all of that.
Books.
So you turn their flesh into books.
Yes, the hardback book.
Okay. No wonder Ekaterina really wanted you to go. She apparently saw this tendency in you, and that is usually in line with their own interests as well.
And each of my ghouls have been become a book. I'm sorry, Robert. It's just the way it is.
Okay.
Jerome, do we have a jail in town? Is there a jail?
I'm sure it's Ashland,
Like
the city.
it's the city of 500 some odd thousand. There is absolutely a city jail.
Well, maybe we can turn this into something productive.
Oh, give me a humanity check, Sophie.
I mean, direct it in a productive way to suit the means of the group.
Yep. Give me a humanity check, Sophie.
I don't think we're going to make a business off of his purses.
Oh, I don't even know what my humanity is anymore. That's lower than I thought.
Oh, man.
What are we? Yeah, that's
Difficulty 6.
okay, so that's just a failure.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. So you, oddly enough, you were very coldly logical about it. That is probably the safest bet to suggest. It keeps it under control, under wraps, protects the masquerade, and you don't really give much of a damn. So go ahead and erase a point.
Never-ending battle.
I know. But that's vampire.
I guess that's kind of what this game is about.
All right, so let me understand. So what you're saying is, what I have dealt with was the princes of cities in the past was just stop or go away. And so what you're saying is, you understand that this is something I need to do. But working with Remus's suggestion, we would go for the people that deserve it. Go for the ones, and then if I happen to get lucky and get a Hawaii, then I get lucky. But I'm not looking for the states. I'm looking for the ones that deserve it to feed upon and to kill.
A question, real quick, not to jump in there. Remus, what is your humanity?
3.
Oh, okay. You're not totally comfortable with this, but the ride that you've been on so far, with your life and everything that you've had to deal with, you're like, I've heard of worse at about this point.
You're a little desensitized, I think, by this point.
That kind of fits on what I was thinking. I was like,
You're not totally comfortable with it, but that was your rationale. Okay, it's going to go to people. Then all right, it's not just random Joe Schmoes. Okay, you're fine.
So all of his extracurricular activities aside and the accommodations for them, that still doesn't address the fact that the Cam and the Sabat are now mad that he's here. So does this mean that we will publicly basically say he's under our protection and risk the wrath of the others to do that? Or is there some sort of punishment that's in order to help
we-
rectify it?
We need to come up with some sort of semi-public restitution or punishment to fit the severity of the situation, and it needs to be seen that we don't just accept every axe murderer in here claiming to be an anarch.
Out of character, how long does it take to grow a body part back?
That's a great question. Also depends upon your generation. And depends upon the type of damage. If
Like,
you're
let's say-
if you're a low generation, you could probably, provided it wasn't aggravated damage, you could probably regrow it within a couple nights, depending, again, like if it was like a full limb or something. If you're like, because it goes back to the whole like how much blood can you spend per turn sort of thing.
So
If
I
you're-
can spend.
If you're like a low, if you're like a high generation, it'll take a long time.
All right. So
Henry, do you understand what we're talking about? Like, if you're going to stay here, unfortunately, we have to kind of show a stand, like what she said. We're not just going to take any axe murderer that comes in here, so to speak.
And
I understand.
I don't want to make you feel unwelcome because you are our friend. You've had our backs. You did make rather a mess at my neighbor's house, and we had to clean that up. And there may be repercussions from that since the police found out. But
I
I think we'll be
apologize.
okay.
I thought that Katerina was going to take care of that.
Of
yeah,
course she's not.
didn't. So thanks for that. But I feel that it was perhaps a foolish thing for you to do, but that you did not intend to insult them from an outsider's perspective. Obviously, they have different customs which were not explained to you.
Does
And
Katerina have the authority to brand me with this name, this Atakas? I mean, does she have the authority just simply to say that is what she is now?
is that
I
how
mean,
it's done?
Isn't that more of a reputation, Jerome?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a reputation that you develop.
So
That's not
which
something
one
that
is not?
happens overnight.
But that was overnight.
Well, yeah, in this case.
But,
You're a bit of an exception to that rule. I hate to say it.
but
I was with
based
you
on your
one night.
history- based on your history, one could argue that it had been a long time coming.
I don't know. I mean, here's where I am right now. I do not want to say that I am anarch, and because we have not discussed it fully. I have not. I do not understand. It sounds tempting. We've discussed it more now than we have the entire time I have been with you. I've not had the opportunity to fully think about it. I would like to discuss it, but it was very clear within one evening I was not going to be Sabat. I was invited, and I turned that down. But anarch is a conversation that we are having now. If I need to decide now, I can. As far as punishment goes, I could. I mean.
So Miss Cummings raises her hand.
Yes.
I forgive my speaking up. I know I'm only here by proxy by Ms. Maxwell, but it seems to be the concern is his allegiance, if I understand correctly.
Yes.
Okay, then perhaps as Ms. Damaris openly displayed her leaving the Sabbat. Maybe something could be done for Mr. Henri.
It's Henri is my favorite name, my first name.
Henri.
Well, it's just my
Your favorite one.
But I choose the other
It
name.
is my favorite name, but it is not the only one.
My full name is Henri Desiree Mondrian, but it's much easier. So to say Henri.
Okay.
So okay, Mr. Maris, what did you have to do to leave your prior sect?
And I would say not obviously the exact, but perhaps the spirit of the gesture.
Yeah, mine was done in a very, very public place in front of the Giovanni, in front of another Sabbat member, and in front of all of the anarchs. I literally committed seppuku. Basically, I killed off that part of myself and was very public.
What does seppuku mean? I don't understand.
Ritual suicide, sir.
Yes.
When you said the cat was gutted, you meant you then.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It would have healed up by now, right? Or
you're still healing. So
okay, so I'm gonna
it
pull up my
wasn't
shirt.
it wasn't
then.
aggravated, but you could still see where the cut had happened.
Yeah, I pull up my shirt and I show it
Oh my
in all its glory.
Henri, seeing that, why don't you give me a conscience check? Because in part she kind
was
of
my
took
sacrifice.
Yeah, in part
Yeah.
she kind of took that because of you. So you might
Yes.
have enough humanity that might kind of bug you a little bit.
No, I got one in conscious, so I failed.
Oh, you fail? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
watch,
yeah. He's not
but I
stunned
but I
by
do
it
see
all.
it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I have mentioned before my master was a harsh master. I had been punished with removing my tongue. I have had my fingers, hands chopped off in the past. Ears. There was always a meaning behind what body part I lost. You know, if I had heard the wrong thing, I'd have to lose an ear. If I spoke out of turn, I would lose my tongue. If I
We
touched,
need-
so
Sorry.
I
Can I ask something at OC real quick?
Yeah.
Would this be something that a rite of contrition?
So
would
okay, good question. You are attempting to do no Sabbat rite of contrition.
Well, no, I'm not saying do that to him, but something similar or that has that sort of cleansing effect, I guess you could say.
Well,
but, like,
keep in
publicly?
mind, yeah, well, okay. The RP value of such a thing, yes. An actual rite of contrition is super oxymoron at this point, especially for Henri. Because it's like, you're like, so you tried to join the Sabbat, you ran away, you're going to probably join the Anarchs, but we're going to cleanse you like a Sabbat member, and you're going to repent. So
I was just trying to think of some other public ritual or something that could be done.
Yes, the general idea that you've got there it would be very similar. If you'll also remember, you weren't just gutted. You were branded.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was branded too.
Uh-huh.
Do you show me the branding?
Yeah.
What?
Because it's like right above in the middle of the chest, I think, was where I picked it.
So it was a Sabbat Ankh, and there is quite literally like just a simple brand of like a circle and a line that goes through it. Basically just something to mar it so it's very clear that this is not a Sabbat member anymore.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could brand you.
I have not been branded, but what would you brand me? Would you brand me with the anarch symbol saying that you were claiming me as protection?
You would have to accept that protection and actually commit to it, basically. I guess is what I'm saying.
And
that's what's
Casey,
gonna happen.
that is something you could do. You actually have the ability to do that if you really wanted to. If you wanted to jump in there and raise your hand.
I'm so
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's your
Sorry, I know you kind of came into a lot.
yeah. It's your main vampiric power that we talked about. You could basically write that on his flesh.
There was so much that we went over.
Mhm. Yeah, basically your main vampiric power of vicissitude allows you to bone craft and flesh craft.
Okay.
So you could quite literally do what they're saying. Like, think of flesh like a piece of paper.
Okay.
You could literally draw the anarch symbol onto his back or wherever they directed, if that's what you wanted. And it would hurt like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's more like clay. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
flesh becomes clay to him at that point.
I'm sure you can make it hurt if you wanted to.
But Henry, that would also depend on you if you're willing to take that kind of a punishment and also basically make a commitment. Because frankly, I mean, if you decide to end up not needing to join the Anarchs, or you decide to leave us too, I mean, you'll end up being Autocus anyway.
I don't know about the branding though. That seems kind of against what we like the spirit of the Anarchs.
It's also supposed to be a punishment. Like, it's something that you could heal, or he could have moved eventually. I'm guessing if that's something that he said he could do. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways to have Henry stay and not have all of us have, you know, a big old just
Target.
shit show target on our back.
Damaris, do you know when? Because I'm still so new to this. When this kind of thing happens, like, does that give these other factions like free permission to just go into anyone else's territory and hunt
No.
that person down? Okay, so we
No,
don't.
because if that was the case, then they'd be coming after me too.
Okay,
If I
so-
go into their territory, this is gonna get recognized, and I'm gonna meet the final death. I'm not anxious to be there yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if like this being labeled an autarchus was like essentially
It's a bad thing.
well, I know I can imagine it's bad, but like I just wanted to make sure it didn't mean that it was Henri hunting season, and anybody could just go wherever they wanted and just to claim his head.
Okay.
Jerome, would I know that?
Actually, hang on one second. As you're saying that out loud, you can hear Benedict in the back of your head saying, "Oh yes, that's exactly what that means."
Oh, that is what that means. Never mind.
Yes, and in a matter of speaking, when has that deterred people before? When have they needed that kind of an excuse to come and trample our city?
I mean, it's not like
Well,
the Catalina cares.
It'd be more open
Yeah,
It
it
would
was.
be.
because they wouldn't care
So-
at that point. He's a target. They're coming in here to get him, and that's it.
So would a brand even stop any of that? Like, if they're going to be sending in people to come in and get him, like,
If
are they
he
gonna?
continues to be a known Autocus, so that means that if he doesn't want to be continued to be labeled as that, a public display like a branding of sorts would remove that title essentially from him. At least that's from my understanding.
Mhm.
If that's something that we're interested in doing, perhaps we need the Giovanni here again.
I think that this would be another display of
They could.
loyalty, I guess you could say. The Willow House is getting a lot of action, so
I mean, we could invite them over here.
and we know that the Giovanni also want this to be addressed as well. So this would effectively get them off our backs as well.
I think it also would be a good demonstration to anybody who is in the city as well that there is some authority here, and
Mhm.
we're not just going to keep rolling over if you're going to
Yeah.
make enemies and make the city worse for us.
In the back of Remus's mind, you hear, "Good answer, good answer."
I don't know.
What do you think, Henry?
Honestly, I'm fine with the branding. My master would remove body parts and then tell me after why he took them. So
Well, at least
Like,
you know
the big
beforehand.
What the hell was that for? You didn't hear me.
Didn't do the
I mean,
Um,
the first time when he said "stick out your tongue," I'm going to cut it off. I was like, "What?" So like that was, but that was part of my training. So
But this also carries a lot of weight behind it. The symbolism behind it is that you are effectively going to be anarch.
I will not just be labeled as anarch. I will be branded.
You literally won't be just labeled as it. This will be something that you will be a part of our city, a part of our group, the family. I don't know about the council, but we're here anyway, dealing with it. So I don't see why not.
In
But
my
that's up
mind,
to you.
I guess in my mind is the last question is where will the branding be,
Mhm.
and how large of a branding are we discussing?
I mean, that's
And then Snowball, you said you
up
can
to
do
you
it.
because
How would you do it, Snowball? Is this like you would? Are you just putting iron in the fire and pushing it to my flesh, or is it something else that you have in mind?
Sure yet.
All right. I didn't know if it was is it an ability like a magic thing, or is it or is it very just mundane?
You, Casey, you would actually just call it's commonly called flesh crafting.
Okay, it's
So
an ability.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you mention that, they're going to know what you're talking about at that point. It's
Yeah.
very well, even though it's not highly sought after by people because it tends to be controversial. There's not a vampire out there unless they're brand new that does not know what flesh crafting is. Most of them fear it.
Just flesh craft the cone of shame onto Henri.
like something around the neck.
Yeah.
While they're having this discussion, I'm gonna make a phone call to I guess I'll call Kwan since he's on the
Okay. Give me just hold that thought real quick, guys. Please continue to go in character. Be right back.
So, Damaris, I mean, your brand is here above the heart. Is that
Well, no, mine's in the middle of my chest, so
Oh.
it can be covered. It just needs to be done publicly.
So that way it gets around to all these other groups to know that they can't send their dogs to hunt you because
Yeah, you are no longer a Tarkus. Exactly. You are Anarch, and we will defend you and support you.
I can do this. It's as far as you have said you understand my needs, and you have worked with me on how to make my needs to work within the city. That is something I can definitely do. Yeah, I can do this. I mean, with obfuscate and mask of 1,000 faces, I can appear to be anyone, but I can make but the mark would be there. It would remain. So when I show my true self as now, it would be there present. So
Yeah, so it would stay there until he either is able to craft it away into something else, or you leave it. I mean, I'd leave it for a while.
no, I mean, if it's on the chest, I have no need to do anything with it.
Wherever you want it to be. I don't think it should be anywhere that's on your face because that would really be a bit of a breach to an extent.
his face is rather a breach.
My
He
face is
usually
very-
hides it. That's true.
very
Okay, I mean,
so,
it's up to you wherever you want to do it.
So I'm back. You were making a call to Kwan?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he picks up. You hear him in the middle of typing something. Sophie, how can I help?
Hi, Kwan. We are discussing Henri's punishment and could use a Giovanni witness at the train museum.
A witness.
Oh,
Are you
tonight?
executed him?
No,
I thought we were going to arrange a meeting at the Wella House again, or something like that.
I don't see why we can't just do it here.
Sure.
I mean-
Let me wrap up what I'm doing here, and then
It
I
doesn't
can-
have to be you if someone else is more convenient. I just
No. I think Vinny might take a bit too much delight in it, and he'd probably be, rather loud and boisterous to the whole thing. So
Oh,
probably not, great for leg breaking, not so good for formal witnessing. So yeah, just give me like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll be down there.
great, thank you.
So you just had this phone call in front of us, right?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Oh, Quan, have you met Quan?
I'm not sure.
Um,
I've met more people within the past few months with this group than I have met in decades, so I do not know.
Quan is a cousin of the Giovanni and from their Eastern family branch. And he is a member of the council, the original Ashland Giovanni Council.
And Giovanni are not Camarilla.
No, they are
No.
independent.
So if you're asking for witnesses, do you need to get a Camarilla witness and a Sabat witness to come as well?
Camarilla are not welcome in the city, so I'm hoping that, well, Quan would be able to tell
Mhm.
better what would be sufficient.
And honestly, the Giovanni have a pretty decent reputation in that they don't usually they like honesty. They're very upfront. So if they're going around and it's word coming from them as well that you've been punished and that you are now officially Anarch, then that the weight of their word will spread and it will help.
That is my intention. That's what I hoped by inviting the Giovanni.
Frankly, the Sabat don't even mess with the Giovanni that much either. So, there is a level of respect there for them too.
So yes, as far as the branding, I don't know. I guess it could be the size of the chest for as a matter. The only thing the new Anarch symbol is not really something I would want. I would like something, the older Anarch symbol. It's similar to a cross. It's not just a circle in the sideways A. Are you familiar with this older symbol?
I assume we would, right, Jerome? Or no?
Yeah.
Is that going to have some sort of like different meaning than using like a more modern symbol?
For me, it would mean that it's tying back to my ancestry, that as old as I am, rather than
The symbol is a symbol. There's always going to be a bit of artistic and versions of it, I guess you could say. But as long as the symbol is the symbol, it shouldn't matter which version it is.
no, if for my sake, as old as I am, I would like an older symbol. Is what I am saying.
I don't care which one it is as long as it gets done.
Okay. Do I need to remove like the pinkies or something as another something?
No,
So-
but I think we're waiting for Quan to arrive
Yeah, so,
for as a
I'll
Giovanni witness.
I'll get to Quan in just a second. So Casey, are you going to use flesh crafting on him then?
If everybody would like.
I know Damaris would,
Oh,
without
yes.
even asking.
I mean, I would do it myself if I could.
I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, so if that's the case, we'll get to Quan here in just a second. We'll let you do your first dice roll of the evening here. So before we do, Damaris, since you have crafts, why don't you give me a dexterity and crafts check as you draw up the cross that he's referring to, or the Ankh, I should say.
Hmm.
I put the picture in the Discord channel, Discord chat.
Okay. So I'm sorry, you said it was intelligence and crafts?
No, it would be dexterity and crafts.
Oh, dex and crafts, sorry.
Yes. Make sure you draw it right.
Mhm.
And then Jerome, in the,
3.
Okay.
where can I throw the picture that you can see it? I'm not sure if the Discord channel is the best place or not.
No, Discord's not good, but I know what the Anarch Ankh looks like. It's on the 3rd edition book.
Okay.
So basically, what he's doing then, Casey, is he's asking, or they're asking you to recreate this stylized Ankh wherever they're directing it to be put. What we're concerned with is just making the rolls. So what you are going to need to do is add your dexterity and your body crafts, which your body crafts on your character sheet. I think I put that in the middle column on the front. I did.
Yes.
So that's going to be a total of 6 dice. So you'll want to use the chat roller, and it's going to be that the command that I showed you, and you're going to go space 6 space 6, and then it will tell you what you get.
All right. Where is that?
That's at any chat you want it to in the Discord chat. Any place that you can type something.
Okay. So space 6.
So remember, you're going to need to do the exclamation point, and then M, and then space 6 space 6.
Okay.
And then hit enter.
2 successes.
So that tells you right there what you basically rolled, what the dice rolled for you, and then it also tells you how many successes you had. So basically, what that does, the way the dice system works, is you get a like what's called a target difficulty, and anything that hits that target number or is greater, then that's what's called a success. So the base standard for this was 6. So that means any D10 that rolled a 6 or higher was counted as 1 success. So at least 2 of them came up at 6 or higher.
Okay.
So that is good enough for you to basically take your finger and start tracing this stylized Ankh. I'm assuming it's onto his chest.
Yeah. So I would ask, can Damaris draw it on me first? That way he knows what he's doing, and then I know we're gonna wait till the representative gets here.
Yeah, that's fine. And Quan at this point does show up before anybody starts doing anything. I mean, all he's really there is just a witness. And he sees, Henri with your shirt off, and at that point, Damaris has already finished sketching the original piece, in essence, kind of stenciling it. And then Snowball takes his finger, and you guys quickly notice that he does have flesh crafting, and he flesh crafts this Ankh into Henri's chest. Henri, that is 1 aggravated damage.
Okay.
And give me a self-control check.
And take ag from mine.
Yeah.
Difficulty 6.
Difficulty 6.
Yeah, 0 successes.
Okay, so as he is visibly in pain and angry, and right about the time that Snowball finishes, Henri frenzies.
Okay.
I try to intercept him.
We are in combat at this point.
Okay.
So Henri at this point, because he is frenzy, does not have access to most of his disciplines. It's all just primal stuff. So I'll take care of that here. Let me get a chance to pull up his
Cool.
sheet.
Would I just do fight or flight? Like,
No, you're fighting. It's in essence first damage of the night.
okay.
And
Um,
am I next to him when he's doing the crafting? I expect I.
Since you stenciled, probably.
Sure.
So-
Nope. This way. I want to be very involved in this.
Jerome, when was the last time I sent you a sheet?
What's that?
When was the last time I sent you my sheet?
Let's take a look. It says updated 122.
I don't think that's my most current. What can I do to make it to get it to you quickly? Just take a picture of it and send it to you on a phone, or
No, just if you have the PDF, send it to me in chat in the in Facebook.
sorry.
does Majesty work against frenzy?
I'm sorry, what?
Does Majesty work
Yep,
against frenzy?
yep. It sure
Yes.
does.
How about dominate? Does that work?
Probably.
Dominate does not.
I'm quelling.
Okay, well, maybe I'll see if she does that first.
Well, we just got. I'm waiting to get his character sheet so I can figure out combat rounds real fast.
Sorry.
Should we
Oh,
roll
good.
initiative?
It's not updated. And it's not letting me update it. I got it on paper and pencil.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I'll just go with what I've got here. It sounds like it's not going to go far, anyways. So, everybody, give me 1d chin check. I will be rolling for Henri.
D10 plus anything plus dex or anything.
Yeah, it's Dex plus Wits, and then 1d10.
2, 3, 7. Okay. 9, 7. Okay. 16.
Okay.
Oh man,
I rolled a 9.
I rolled good. I got 15.
Oh wow, nice.
What'd you get, George?
15 as well.
Wow. Okay, and Casey, why don't we have you roll initiative as well? So go into the text chat again, type apostrophe M, and then 1 space 6, and just tell me what it comes up with.
Apostrophe M.
Exclamation.
I typed in
Exclamation.
1. I'm space 6.
Do
That's
exclamation. Yeah.
Okay, that's not giving me anything.
You're not doing you're doing comma, not apostrophe.
You gotta
Oh.
do an exclamation point, not a
Sorry.
either. Yeah, exclamation point M.
Exclamation point M.
And then
6.
space, and then you said 1 space 6, Jerome.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what am I doing? I'm lost. Apostrophe, exclamation mark.
No, just
Forget the apostrophe. That
if
was
if you look up in the chat, it should show you what you how you printed it up originally. I can't go in there because I'm
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 9999987.
I think you did it wrong. I put the way you type it in the chat.
I'll take the first one, which was what, a 9.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, all right. So that puts, in looking at your character sheet, that puts you at. Oops, wrong one. So that's 5 plus 9, so that's 14. So everybody got
Got
really
high.
good. Everybody got really high. Okay. So starting off with 16, then.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that he's freaking the F out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do Quell.
Okay. So
And
you
I
need
haven't
to
done this in a while.
first make a dexterity and brawl check. All you need is one success, because
Cool.
his action is directly at Casey right now.
Nice. I got 3.
Okay, so that
That
means
works.
you're able to touch him. You're not doing anything for damage. Quell just requires you to touch him.
Yeah. Okay. And what do I roll for Quell? Because I haven't done that in forever.
1 second. Well, the beast. Manipulation and intimidation.
Hey, I actually have intimidation. And you said
Difficulty is 7.
manipulation.
Yes.
Nice. Cool. That's 1. And you said 10s count as 2?
10s will count as 2, yes.
Okay. So then I have a total of 3.
Okay. So, yeah, combat averted. So as he freaks out and bares his fangs at you, Casey, like he's trying to bite you, you see Damaris just kind of reach across, touch his chest real quick, and all that anger and everything just goes, is just gone. He is completely subdued and looking very submissive.
That clearly was an ordeal for him.
And that is the end of combat.
Well done.
What a waste of a good 10.
Well,
Oh well.
And so, and Quan standing there. Quan is, you're not certain what race specifically, but he is Asian. He has long black hair, actually currently tied back into a ponytail. He is wearing a black shirt, black slacks, and black gloves. Yeah, he looks like he came potentially for business if need be. But otherwise, he was just there to witness, and he's like, okay, it looks like everything at this point has been taken care of, I guess, right?
concerning Henri,
If you wouldn't mind passing along to anyone that asks what you saw here tonight regarding the Autarchus situation.
Ah, I see. Sure, I don't have a problem with that. We'll let them know that Henri has been branded.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming on short notice.
Not a
Yes.
problem. If it's all the same, then I'm going to head out. I still have some work at the school to be done.
Sounds
I
good.
was just standing there with my teeth gritting.
I know how you feel.
All right. Water under the bridge.
Yeah. Damaris feels a little justified now.
Regarding the only other bit of news that I have is regarding that piece of property that we discussed last time. I believe it will cost 1.5 million. If we could cover that between us, it would be great. I do plan to loop in a few others, Painwise perhaps, the Glasswalkers, I'm not sure who else, but the sooner we can get that started, the better. So if you can contribute, let me know, and we can get that sorted out.
I just look at Remus.
What problem?
Hmm. That's right. You didn't hear about that. So, to catch you up, Henri, the forest where we had that fight with the werewolf,
Okay.
setting it on fire put us in the bad graces of the werewolf tribe to the south of town. And in order to prevent them from eradicating us, Noah put forth an idea about protecting that piece of land. It turns out has some sort of spiritual properties that the werewolves value, which incidentally is the same sort of spiritual energy that sorcerers use, or a very similar energy. And we came up with the idea of purchasing that property as the Anarchs, and then sort of presenting it as a neutral territory between werewolves who wish to access its power and the sorcerers as a safe haven, and sort of build an alliance between the three of us groups.
All right. You've been busy.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've been scouting out the area as well, because even I can tap into some of those properties as well.
Very
So
convenient.
I didn't realize this when we were fighting them, but then again, I wasn't looking for it. But now that I know, that's good.
And knowing is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
The other half is violence.
Right.
Yes.
So I know some of us are more solvent than others, so I will leave it to your discretion whether and how much you can contribute.
Jerome, I know that I kind of I melted down all my Doge coins to purchase my 2 new friends.
Mhm.
Um, like, and I know that I'm sort of waiting for that money to replenish. Like,
Yeah,
how far along?
your resources are freed up again.
Okay, and that, considering how much I paid for my new friends, this is
She's
probably
like,
not gonna
I
be
got
that
that in my pocket right now.
bad. Oops. Oh,
I'm like, I might be able to give $500.
I'll have to look through mine too, because I'm also haven hunting myself. So
I
I
think
can.
as far as I'm concerned, amounts are not necessarily important. As I mean, obviously they are significant, but if everyone contributes at least something, then symbolically, I think that's
mm.
got a significance too.
Well, were the resources for Jerome, like, what would be realistic as far as
Originally, resources 4 was like you're right at the millionaire mark.
okay? And
If
now,
you if you liquidated everything, but like
oh
Yeah.
no, I don't want to liquidate everything.
you could probably easily get like $10,000.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I can probably contribute about 10,000. I know that's not a million, but it's a down payment.
Yeah, I can investedness.
Five- $500 is about half of everything I own. So
Well, hopefully with your above board other business, that should pick up as well.
but I've been trying. Zachary has not made any progress. He's learning, and then I have to. Trudy is letting me stay there rent free, as we say, until I start to make a profit. So
Not to circle back to Ekaterina, but I did have a question.
By all means,
You mentioned, Henry, that they were offended that you pretty much thought the Black Hand and Sabat were the same. Are the members of her pack Black Hand? Did they say that?
no, they are not. They have called themselves the what is it? The Hail Marys.
So how did the Black Hand come up then?
In my mind, Black Hand and Sabat were synonymous.
what are Black Hand?
How do you? Well, I guess I'm asking, how do you know about the Black Hand?
That's how I was. Like my only experience was Sabat before you and Katarina was the Black Hand, decades ago.
The Black Hand, and I don't know a whole lot about them. They're very
Very violent.
I don't know how to describe them. They're Sabat, but they're independent in Sabat. They kind of like have their own sort of set of rules. Very similar, I guess, to the Giovanni in that regard, but they kind of hold themselves apart. Don't really answer to necessarily the bishops, but they're still sort of a part of it. I don't know how else to describe it.
And so it was my mistraining.
I get it. I do think it's actually beneficial that I probably teach you guys a little bit more about the Sabat, since we're probably going to be encountering them a lot more at this point. So I need to share with you at least the basics at this point, so you guys kind of know what to expect.
And I have before I forget, I probably should tell you, write down the names of the people that were there.
Yeah, I know you said Antonio was there.
He is now he's a bishop now.
Antonio?
Yeah, he introduced himself as Bishop Antonio of the Hail Marys.
Because
Wow.
Ekaterina's archbishop, right?
Yes.
Katarina's the Archbishop of the Sword of
And the bishop.
Right. She was introduced as the Archbishop of the Sword of Cain. There was a gargoyle there. I've never seen one. Her name Agia.
Yeah.
Agea.
Yeah, it's actually pronounced Agea, yeah.
There were two sisters, Celestina and Marie.
The French sisters.
Oh yeah, there was a fighting type, but they were very fight. There were two men, Duriel and Arkham.
The Durio?
Yes.
And who?
Arkham.
Arkham.
Arkham looks a lot like a Bruja, the way he dressed in a biker outfit. And there was a butler there as well that assisted.
Probably a ghoul.
Probably.
Okay. I just was curious how the Black Hand got brought up into that, if they had said they were, which would shock me. But
I brought it up because that was my understanding, that they were the same thing.
This pack is based in Portland.
Yes, and I can give you the address so for where it was.
Now, okay, that would be very useful information.
You know where they took you?
Yes, the house was very much of a very wealthy house. It may have even been the prince's house from they They mentioned the prince that was turned to ash and spread upon the roads of Ashland.
Do I know which one he's talking about, Jerome? Because I can't remember off the top of my head.
He was
Yeah.
Is it
ally.
Benedict wasn't.
No, it was Prince
it
Aemon.
Benedict?
Prince Aemon.
Oh.
It was a very affluent house. Furniture, nice, and it was just I don't know,
I know where that house is.
very reminiscent of a palace.
So if he doesn't know the address, I know the address. I've been to that house.
Kind of good that we know who we're dealing with, to an extent, not just Ekaterina, but the bishop and their packmates. And a gargoyle. You don't see those hardly at all.
No, I've never seen a gargoyle before. I've heard of them, but it's the beauty of her rock skin. It was amazing.
Oh yes, they're quite magnificent, but yeah, they're assholes too.
But she was at the house when Ekaterina came to me to your neighbor's house. Well, not neighbor. I mean, she's miles from here, but we keep saying she is neighbor. But the gargoyle was there. I was one of the ones that intoxicated me to go.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to be pretty much looking over our shoulder for a while. Unfortunately. Is there any other order of business, Sophie, since
I think that's all I've got action items wise for tonight.
No, it's not order of business, but I have not fed in 2 days, and I would need to feed.
Can I count on you to be discreet?
Yes, I have Robert here. Robert can we can go somewhere.
Or do you need a chaperone?
No, I am fine. I am not. After my frenzy action just a moment ago, and whatever you just did to me to calm me down, I am fine.
how long does Quell last, Jerome, as far as the effects and his willpower? Because he may need to wait.
Yeah, Quell in this case, since you scored 3 successes, I'll get that pulled up again fast. To recover from this power, you have to make a willpower roll difficulty 6 once per day until you've accumulated enough successes to equal until you basically made enough successes to match what was the number of successes that quelled you.
So you may not be able to really effectively catch your prey at the moment, because the effect that I did on you can last a while. You basically are pretty you're pretty easy going for a little bit.
You may need
help.
bottle or a bag.
Yeah, I don't recommend you go out and hunt in the state, because you're going to need to let the effects wear off first. Otherwise, you're going to be a hot mess.
Right, I will acquiesce to that. I'm good for several days. I will not.
Well, we can also go to Anzio's, and I can get you a couple of pints there too.
I would appreciate that. Yes, just another good suggestion.
We need to refill the fridge, blood. Just saying. Looks at Remus.
Yeah, so everybody direct my blood. It's fine. Whatever.
You needed it. It's a good idea.
All right, so we'll go ahead and stop there for the night. since it's just about 2.5 hours in, and it's coming up on 10 o'clock. So thank you all for playing tonight. Stick around real quick. We'll do some RP, or not RP, but XP and whatnot after the stream. Thank you all for tuned in and who were watching. And I guess she's not a house gremlin. She's a house mogwai. That would be Maria, who was in the chat. So hello. You're still out there.
Hello.
She's a friend of ours from the werewolf chat that we've been playing in. So then tomorrow night, it is Modern Age Heroes. That's going to start off at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then our next game will be July 23rd. That sound about right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, folks. So thank you again for tuning in, and you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Good night.
Bye.